Yay! It says I'm live. Good afternoon to you all. It is a beautiful day here at the meeting place of heaven and earth. I originally wanted to sit in the front of the golf course so that you could see beautiful Mount Shasta behind me, but the table is not big enough to show the chessboard up there, so I am back here for today. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. I'm glad that I am able to go live. When I first tried to start, it was saying loading, 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 so yeah, I am very excited to talk to you today about multiple topics. The first one is obviously the chess tournament that I have going on. I think my phone died. Okay, that is useless. We have had multiple winners in the chess tournament, so that is really exciting. There have been quite a few people that have timed out their games, so that part is not so exciting. But last night, well, this morning / last night, between 9 p.m. last night and this morning when I woke up, Sage played a game and I was really impressed with it because it was a really quick win as black. So I wanted to actually show you on my board the game that was played. But I do have a few winners to announce. Sage and Olette both won in the first round. Britton, Damien, and Emil won in the first round, and the other ones are still active games. So if you haven't checked out the group there on Facebook to see all of the active games and see what is going on, I will leave a link in the live chat. Let me go to it. I'm also looking to set up a 16-person knockout. Hey Sage, another 16-person knockout tournament to start going at the same time, and then we'll have multiple. I don't want to spill this. Multiple tournaments going on, and then the winners of the tournaments can start battling each other, which will be really exciting. So here is the chess tournament master bracket. Okay. Yeah, so if you're interested in joining the tournament, let me know because I do want to get that started hopefully soon. All right, so let us play through this game, and then I want to go sit in the sun. So, it's kind of a little bit hard to see. Oh, I don't think that I've actually told you guys that I got this new chess set. I was inspired when I went to the Reno chess tournament and saw all of these people with their chess sets. And I opted for one that was a little bit different than the regular I got. I really wanted this bag, actually. It has the owl on it. Owls are wise. I know that there's a lot of demonization going on with owls and relating them to, let me scoot that up a little bit, evil things. Aaron actually made a great post on Facebook it was actually yesterday, about how all of these signs and symbols have been demonized over time, perverted, and then presented to us as evil so that we fall into this trap. And now people are saying, oh, like yoga is demonic and owls are evil. Like, these things that inherently aren't evil in themselves being used for evil to ultimately manipulate us into believing that they are so when they are not. So it's kind of hard to see the chessboard. I am still working on the chess 101 video. Some of my footage actually was lost, and I am deciding to re-record it with this HD camera so that it will look really nice. I'm going to have the screen on, a board on the screen, and I'm really excited about it. So that is still in the works. But like I said, I wanted to show you this game that Sage played in the, it's going to be hard to look all the way over here to see the moves, played in this knockout tournament. Very, very impressive, Sage. Congratulations on your win. So Sage is playing at black here. So I'm going to play from black perspective as well. Okay. So white goes and plays b3. Let me just make sure you can see the screen or the board as much as possible. The actual game moves are posted in in the comment section of the game post. So if you want to actually see it out in front of your eyes, it'll be a little bit easier for you to see it there. I definitely encourage you to check it out. And like I said, join the next round of knockout fun. All right, so then we have E6 on the other side. Then we have G4 on white. We have our knight jumping out here. This pawn comes up to protect. Need to be a little bit slower so don't knock over my pieces. And we are looking at a battle here of pawns, but uh-oh. Where did that move happen? Okay. We have this, and those of you who can see what is going on here, we have a very easy checkmate coming down this line right here to the king. So when you're playing, you always want to make sure that you don't do this. If you've seen my Chess 101 Inanna's Rules of Chess, you'll see how I play. I never push my pawns up here. Maybe during the middle game or the end game I do, but when I am getting ready in the beginning of the game, I take a more defensive approach, get my army ready for war rather than running into battle, especially this whole, not in this game necessarily, but the whole, E4, E5, throwing pawns into the middle and leaving the queen and king exposed. And it's just not the proper way to play chess, even though it is the most popular way to play chess. I don't want to talk too much about the tournament as it is still ongoing. But after it is over, I definitely will tell you, my opinion of the games that were played, even play through more of my favorite games as they come. But this is definitely it's the best one of the tournament so far. There's been many timeouts and people quitting, but not very many checkmates. So this one is particularly impressive. And what is even more impressive is that Sage actually did choose to play black. Many people don't choose to play black. There have been a few people during the tournament, Sage, Emil, and Damien, who have specifically chosen to play black. So that is always impressive. Going off of Sage's quick checkmate, I also wanted to share with you my quickest checkmate because it is along the same lines. And let me see if I can show you quickest checkmate.
Sounds good.
Okay, Inanna's fastest checkmate. I actually made a GIF to post it later. I was playing white, always starting off the Inannian opening by getting my bishop into play. Their first move is to throw out their pawn into the middle. Then, of course, I'm going to get my gun into play because this is a game of war, so don't dilly-dally around. Then they throw their pawn here, and I'm going to go ahead and get ready to come down here and checkmate after they move their pawn into the wrong spot. So that was pretty exciting for me. Obviously, a lot of people try to go for the 4-move scholar's mate and bring out their queen really early. And, well, I like to specifically punish them for doing those things. There are obviously different variants for the Inannian opening based on what the person that you are playing is playing. If they try to scholar's mate, I'm going to open a lot differently than if they just play regular E4, D4 Sicilian opening and regular chess like that. So, I have company out here now. I think that was all that I wanted to mention on chess. So I saved the table over there in the sun. I'm going to go and sit over there. Let me see what is going on in the chat here. Woohoo! The Punisher, yes. White pieces are easy to see in the shade now. Yay! Show them 2-move checkmate. You didn't tell me. You didn't ever told me what your 2-move checkmate was. Hey Kong, how's it going? I get like that in a poker. Nice. I'm sure that I've played poker at least once before, but I know that I've played Texas Hold'em multiple times. So, Aaron, do you play in any poker tournaments, or is that just something that you like to do for fun on occasion? I just tidy up here, and then somebody else can have my table.
And now, the second, I think it's the second tournament is a mid golf with Greg North.
I guess I need to put this board away, don't I? Someone call with junk. I put a straddle on them. What are you talking about? I used to play poker offline, but now just online for fun. Oh, that's cool. I know that people can make some pretty decent cash playing poker, so it's pretty cool how you can go online and play poker and chess and all these other things with people all over the world. A cute chess set. Okay. Let's get ready to move over here, shall we? I think I have too much stuff. Okay. Here's the beautiful golf course that you can't really see.
Anyway, they were working with.
So 3 of them are done.
Well, you know, Phil was working with them
He's
on
nice enough
some
for
of
me
the
to go by myself. Okay, I'm gonna go grab my charger my tea.
Yeah, the CEO.
He said, if you play this tournament,
Noisy walker. Okay. Said Aaron posted a really great post yesterday about how signs and symbols and stuff have actually been demonized over time, and I wanted to bring up this book that I recently bought. Okay. The Healing Power of Mudras. Obviously, there is a lot of demonization in the truther community of all of these hand gestures and painting everything as demonic rather than looking under the surface and seeing how these things have been stolen and perverted, inverted, and demonized over time. So, mudras, different hand gestures, you know, the 666 and all of these different mudras are based on the truth that our fingers have different energies associated with them, and then putting these energies together can cause different reactions to happen. Mudras can bring about miraculous changes and improvement in our body. Mudras generate power to provide peace and happiness. Mudras are miraculous remedies. They provide instant relief in many illnesses. I myself have used mudras not only, with female cramping issues, but also when I'm fasting, to the 666 mudra in particular, and also the prana mudra like this, are very helpful in, the two different things. Getting headaches. I often would get headaches when I was first starting out with dry fasting. So the 666 mudra is helpful with dealing with that. And the prana mudra, the, peace sign that they show, is helpful in energizing you. Prana is the meaning energy. And also, when you're fasting, if you have hunger pangs, it can definitely help with that as well. There are other things that these mudras help. You should definitely look into it, but those are the ones that I personally have benefited from. Mudras can cure almost any ailment from simple earache to heart attack. Mudras help in molding the physical, mental, and even the moral aspects of an individual. Some mudras can balance the elements of the body within 45 minutes, while others act within a few seconds. Practice of some mudras on a regular basis can cure insomnia, arthritis, and memory loss. Mudras bring about a fundamental revision of the destructive changes in the human body. They also develop piety and a courteous disposition. Mudras help in Kundalini yoga to awaken the cosmic energy. And obviously, there is a whole group that try to say that yoga is evil. The whole idea of, practicing different positions and incorporating spiritual meditation with it is certainly not evil. Of course, if you were sitting there and doing these positions and you were intentionally trying to connect with demons, then yeah, you're going to be able to connect with demons. It's not that it's not possible to use these different methods to do that. But if you have a pure intent and you are trying to do, like, going out and saying that all of these Buddhists are evil because they do yoga or mudras or any other religion, right? They want to try to paint. It's mostly mainstream Christianity that I'm referring to, because that's what the mainstream truth or narrative aligns with. Mainstream Christianity, all of the little boxes tick of everything that's going on in our world fits in with the biblical narrative and all of that, and everything else is demonic, right? Every other religion or thought process or way of life is satanic and evil, right? Wrong. But that's what I'm trying to say, is like, these practices can, of course, be used for evil, but they are not evil in themselves. There are many people with pure intent that are trying to, connect with not only their true self, which is not just your higher self, but your lower self, right? Your true self is what you truly are at a core level, and it's a mixture of both, right? Nobody is just all good or necessarily all evil. Most people are just a balance between those. And I've talked before about how these entities that we refer to as demons didn't start out like that. God didn't create two different like angels and demons when he set up this place to battle each other. That's not how it was originally created. These entities have become this way over time. They have been corrupted and abused and broken down to where their soul is dark, and some of them just stay in existence to do evil. And a lot of these ones are the clowns that are using these hand gestures and stuff for evil and trying to program humanity to never use them because of how powerful they can be. The 666 mudra also is heavily used in meditation to help you concentrate. So these things in themselves, what I'm trying to say is not evil. There is plenty of information online about mudras. This book is okay. I wouldn't necessarily tell anybody to go out of their way to buy it, because you can just find all of this information online for free. But I did want to bring that up. Aaron, if you have the link to your post and you want to post it in the if you want to post it into the comment section, that'd be awesome. Kyle, how's it going? I haven't played chess in a while, but it's one of my favorites. Your chess puzzles on Facebook are pretty fun. I'm glad to hear that. I do want to post more in there. It's just really time consuming, and I'm working on a lot of things right now, so I need to. Hey, Akshar, how's it going? Akshar says they saw that Aleister Crowley also wrote a book on yoga, so there can be no convincing some. And then it's, if Aleister Crowley or Anton LaVey or Albert Pike say something, then all of these people basically go by that being God's honest truth. The whole demonization of Lucifer, the light bearer who is not Satan. Satan doesn't bear the light. And the Albert Pike promotion of Freemasons worshiping Lucifer, which original Freemasons were, part of the worship of the grand architect of this realm, right? It wasn't inherently evil, but it's another one of these things that inverts have infiltrated and corrupted over time. If you look through history, that is constantly what is happening. Humans will start something, and then inverts will come in and infiltrate it and corrupt it as quickly as they can. They are experts at this, and like they really don't ever come up with their own like things. They just steal from others. Like the most creative that they're gonna get is being degenerate perverts. Like they do get creative in that disgusting arena, and that's about it. Like they're not coming up with great things, and even the inventions and stuff that they give us are so harmful for humans. They're not like 5G. They want to promote it as something so great and have Miley Cyrus singing that do it for your phone because your phone does so much for you, so you should get 5G. Like they want to promote these things as so great and that we are so technologically advanced because we have great computers and phone. Like all this stuff is hurting us, and it's clown technology. Like there is free energy all around us that can be used. All of these things that we are given appear to be, good and advancing us while hurting us at the same time. So there can definitely be a happy medium where technology is beneficial to humans and we use this free energy technology, but the power structure has to change. The psychopaths in power are not pro-human. They are pro-farming human. I mean, they're as pro-human as, a non-vegan is eating animals. They're pro-animal, right? Like the only reason that you're pro-human or pro-animals because you eat them. That's really not pro-them. That's a twisted version that you got there in your mind. But yeah, they need to be taken out of power, and their power structure is collapsing as we see it. They have a lot of destruction that is planned to create their new world order, and there is a truth to this concept of from chaos order comes, right? There needs to be, after this chaos, there will be a rebuilding of humanity, of society, and that is going to either be their new world order where if you don't let them sodomize your son, you're a bigot. Like I know I keep going back to that, but that's like the main thing that they want, is to have their pedophile paradise in public, not having to hide, and even enforced by laws. Like if you're not going along with the programming, then your child can be taken from you. And they already have some of these things where if your child is confused, if you send little Sally off to school, and then someday she decides she wants to come home and be Samuel now, and if you don't promote that, then there are certain, like they're trying to make it so that you don't have any power over your child. Little Sally / Samuel is now in charge, and if they want to go to the doctor and be put on puberty blockers, or even have their body parts chopped up, then you have no say because you're just a religious bigot and you need your children taken away from you. I assure you that they are drooling at your doorstep, waiting to take your children away, especially if you are a truther. Like the more down the rabbit hole you go, the more you're going to stand against their system, the higher risk that you go. People want to try to tell me, oh, be fruitful and multiply. There's never a great time to have children. Like there actually is a great time to have children, and that's during the golden age, when psychopaths don't rule the world, when your children are actually safe, when they're not being born into a world that's going to corrupt them and drive them to be degenerate sodomite clowns. Let's not get off onto, hey, Britton, how's it going? Onto anything too crazy. Aaron says chakras, God's wheels, nerve, ganglion clusters. Yes, chakras are really interesting. I haven't, I wouldn't say that I'm a professional in that area, but one of the things that I did find in my research of chakras that I found particularly interesting was the concept of male and female chakras actually being complementary opposites. So if I'm standing in front of a guy, like my root chakra would be spinning one way and his would be spinning the opposite way. So the chakras they're being attracted to each other as spinning the opposite way. Is really cool. I'll have to post a picture of it at some point in the future, but I thought that was really cool. And of course, if you look into reverse Kundalini and the dangers associated with it, sodomy is a cause of reverse Kundalini, and it's not some harmless act. It is corrupting and degrading to both people that are taking part in the act. And it causes, physical, emotional, mental, and soul turmoil, unrest, and dis-ease, ultimately. Kong says coconut oil helped me lessen the teeth pain. It works like a charm. Yeah, I have done plenty of oil pulling myself, and I promote that. If you guys have toothaches, or cavities, even headaches, I've read oil pulling can help. In the past week or so, a little bit, I'm not really sure how long it's been, but I have been using coconut oil that was not exactly the most pure raw coconut oil, because I can't really stand the taste of like a swishing coconut oil in my mouth. But someone recently told me that there is harmful chemicals that are used to take that flavor out. So if you do oil pulling, you're going to want to get the most pure product that you can. And that's kind of with everything that you're doing, right? The more pure that you have of products going in or being used on your body, the better off you're going to be in general. And that's like, thank you, Captain Obvious. Looks like they're cleaning the pool over there. It's going to be hopefully summer is here to stay, but we've had some really freak weather. Kong says 5G is a scam. 5G and 4G speed tests are the same. They are the same network. Well, 5G is definitely much more harmful. They're getting more harmful as they go, and I think that we can all definitely agree with that. They're not getting less harmful over time. Everything is escalating to a point where we have this collision, this tribulation, and the new order that comes from it, and we are fighting their new world order in what we are doing. Hopefully you realize that your actions have consequences, and we are either fueling that new world order or we are fighting it. And just posting memes on Facebook is not truly like actively doing something. Like, you might be waking people up, but if you are still, your daily lifestyle is still fueling this new world order, waking people up isn't actually like stopping it. Great, you woke people up, now everybody knows, but what are you actually doing about it? Obviously not everybody knows. And it is, I'm not like ragging on waking people up, but we have to actually do different actions to receive different consequences, and that should be obvious. We have the power to manifest our reality, and we have not been doing a good job as humans overall, as a species. Hey Brennan, how's it going? A good day, brave intellectuals. Thanks for joining, guys. 5G is definitely faster. I haven't really tried to notice any of the difference, but I do know that they have been purposefully slowing down 4G and making it worse, so that basically we beg for 5G, right? They get us to beg for our own demise and the things that are hurting us, so that they can laugh at us for being clowns. Thank you for the link, Aaron. Those towers are placed to control the life of the jab. Well, in a way, they're affecting us all, jabbed or not, right? Because these harmful frequencies are getting blasted out, and anybody in that territory is going to be affected. The specific frequency that they pick is designed to heat the oxygen molecules, and they rise up, and then those that are in the area, right, the oxygen is rising up, so what are we left to breathe? Aaron says meditate on the celestial spheres for, where'd that go? Connection. They all do different things. Yes, male spins right, female spins left. Kunda Bufa is reverse Kundalini, I think. I'm not sure. I've not heard that. It sounds like a technical term, but it definitely could be the same. Kumba. That's not how you spell that, but okay. Kunda Bufa. Nothing is coming up for. Probably I'm spelling it wrong. It's not a word that I'm used to. Okay, here we go. Interesting. The Kunda Buffer, I don't know how to say this. Organ is a horrifying tale of Satan, which is shown in the body of desires of the intellectual animal who, in the present times, is falsely called man. That's interesting. I'm going to have to look more into this because I have not heard. This website, Aaron, is saying that it is different. It's the Kundalini awakening negatively. Instead of rising upwards as the Kundalini does, it precipitates downwards. Yes, reverse Kundalini, absolutely. Yep. So thanks for that. Thanks for teaching me a new word, Aaron. I appreciate that. Colin says, I'm focusing more on my daily life than awakening others. We all go on one day and walk alone at some point. So I definitely agree. I have been. What is happening? I have no idea what that person is. Just writing a bunch of squiggles in the chat room. Okay. Holy cow. How many? What just happened? Where did all of the words go that I was reading? They just really did a number on here. Okay. Kong, I agree. I'm also focusing more on myself and actually more on chess because people just, even people in the truther community don't want the truth. They want to hold on to false idols and you know, would rather live in a delusional fairy tale rather than wake up to the harsh truth. And that's even the truthers. So Kyle says, yeah, they rise the gas prices to make us want to buy electric cars. LOL at that. Yeah, and also they completely control the gas prices, right? That's another thing that I wanted to talk about. So they could have very well went in when Trump was president and cranked up the gas prices just like they are doing with Biden. They are putting Biden as this, face of evil, and you hopefully can see through that it's like reverse psychology so that people will beg for Trump back. Like, we never had this problem when Trump, like, all of this hate goes to one puppet so that they can get all of this love for another and then, get people to accept their New World Order Trump card by just manipulating the gas prices. It's so ridiculous. I also saw an article that was posted regarding electric cars that, like, California was asking people not to charge their cars or something. I'm not really sure. The gas price that I passed this morning was $5.83, so that's crazy. Expected from California, but what in the world happened to this chat room with this clown just spamming the place? Okay. Who the heck is it? Jimmy Cornette? Some band member? Like, okay, what is happening? Why are these clowns just doing this? All right. I also wanted to read from the Gospel of the Holy 12. I'm trying to see what's going on in the chat room, but I am obviously under an attack right now. YouTube seems to be aiding him. Yeah, what the heck is happening right now? Brennan says, honestly, some people don't comprehend the truth about things. I don't blame them because of how bizarre it is. It's hard not to get frustrated, but yeah, there are so many agendas to try to, keep us asleep not just the fluoride, but all of the news, everything in society, basically geared towards keeping us asleep and under their control. Even the truther movement has been completely controlled. Like pretty much everybody who, like, I mean, everyone who woke me up, I don't really credit too many people with waking me up. I guess kind of credit more myself with awakening, because I, you know, it is just something that you do yourself. Someone can show you the truth, but you have to accept it yourself. You have to own that power. But yeah, the whole truther community has a network of inverted clowns that were put into place to try to keep us under control and keep us partially awake. We have ones that are still promoting the mainstream Christian narrative, demonizing everything. And those are the most popular ones that are promoted in, you know, in my circles. And I wouldn't say my circles as in my friends, because my friends don't post those things. More like posting what Aaron does and finding the truth of these religious teachings before they have been perverted and corrupted. Usually when you hide somebody's from the channel, it takes away their comments. Axar says what's even more interesting is that I'm not able to permaban this one with a click. Huh, that's weird. Okay. This is like desperate times for these clowns, just spamming the chat. Most likely an inverted clown. It's because it's not the same account each time. They are sending multiple bot accounts. Yeah. This is desperation. Hide user on this channel. Oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. All right. So the last part that I read in the Gospel of the Holy 12 was lection 6. I think it was. It was actually lection 7. Lection 6 was about John the Baptist and how he ate from the locust tree, the fruit from the locust tree, not actually eating bugs. And that's something that I wanted to comment today on. For those that are in the truther community, there is an inverted shill named Mr. E. Mystery, like the word mystery, like it's a mystery what they are. This is a commonly used invert joke. They think that it's hilarious, and you'll see it used many times over. Anyways, Mr. E, after many years of transvestigations, finally came out with a video that actually shows their face, which we can tell by transvestigation why they've been hiding for so long. But anyways, this video is particularly disgusting and goes along with the satanic programming of trying to get humans to eat bugs. I'm planning on actually making a video of them saying it so you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. But this whole agenda to eat bugs is really to degrade humans even more, so they can point at us and say, ew, look at those little filthy runts eating bugs. Like, that's how lowly humans are. You can imagine someone crawling around in the grass just picking out ants and eating them. Like, this is a step down. And this inverted shill, Mr. E, is trying to use the Bible to defend this disgusting behavior. Like, you really think that your creator wants you to eat bugs? So degrading. Okay. So I wanted to mention also on this topic of eating things that people shouldn't, the psyop that is going around now is to give babies evaporated milk mixed with Caro, which is corn syrup. Okay, this just like sweetened corn product made from Monsanto GMO corn. Like Caro is one of the biggest corn corn syrup producers, and they're certainly not getting non-GMO corn. So giving your baby this super sweet GMO disgusting syrup that they should never be having is a way that they are going to cause a lot of problems. That overly sugary substance is going to fuel, diabetes and all sorts of diseases, because it is not what our creator intended for us to consume. We are created to be frugivores. We naturally seek out fruit or sweet things. If you give a child, if you show them a plate of corpses and a plate of fruit, they're going to be like, yeah, let me have the fruit, because it's seen as dessert. It's something sweet, and that is what they are naturally going to be inclined to eat. But when you give them this overly sugary substance, this unnatural sugar, the further away from God's design that something gets, the worse, the more evil it becomes. God made everything a design, and when you break that code and do things that are unnatural, he kind of made it so that there's only one right way, and it's his way, and anything that you do to try to deviate from that is going to cause issues. Like, you're going to be really hard pressed to find improvement on God's design. And all of these sugary substances are not only going to feed diseases, but they're going to basically ruin fruit for your child. Your child should want that fruit, but after they've been eating all of this processed sugar, then that fruit becomes dull to them, and now they just want to eat candy. So I definitely plan on not giving my children sweets. I want to extended breastfeed and then be essentially raw vegan as much as possible, because that is what is the best for them. So that is my plan. All right, I wanted to read Lection 8 really quick for the people that wanted to hear it, and then I will jump back into the live chat. The baptism of Iesu Maria the Christ. And it was in the midst of the summer, the 10th month. Then cometh Jesus from Galilee to Jordan unto John to be baptized of him. But John forbade him, saying, I have need to be baptized of thee, and thou comest to me? And Jesus answered, said unto him, suffer it to be so now, for thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness. Then he suffered him. And Jesus, when he was baptized, went up straightway out of the water, and lo, the heavens were open unto him, and a bright cloud stood over him, and from behind the cloud 12 rays of light. And thence, in the form of a dove, the Spirit of God descending and lighting upon him. And lo, a voice from heaven saying, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. This day I have begotten thee. And John bare witness of him, saying, this was he of whom I spake. He that cometh after me is preferred before me. For he was before me. And his fullness have all we received, and grace for grace. For the law was in part given to Moses, but grace and truth cometh in fullness by Jesus Christ. No man hath seen God at any time, the only begotten, which cometh from the bosom of the eternal, and the same is God revealed. And this is the record of John, when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who art I thou? And he defied not, but confessed, I am not the Christ. Really humble guy here, John. And they asked him, what then? Art thou Elias? And he saith, I am not. Art thou that prophet of whom Moses spake? He answered, no. Then said they unto him, who art thou, that we may give an answer to them that sent us? What sayest thou of thyself? And he said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Holy One, as said the prophet Isaiah. And they which were sent were of the Pharisees. And they asked him and said unto him, Why baptizest thou then, if thou be not that Christ, nor Elias, neither that prophet of whom Moses spake? Why are you out here baptizing, when shouldn't you be leaving that up to the church and the Pharisees, all of these strict religious teachers that the Essenes were against? The Essenes were a sect of Jews that were different from the Pharisees, from the Sadducees, whereas they didn't believe in any of the animal sacrificing. They did daily purification rituals to try to actually be better and abstain from sin, rather than just saying, okay, I sinned, let me go and kill some chickens, and then somehow God's going to forgive me. After, there's a lot of blackmail that can obviously go along with this human priest being the one that you are accountable to as well, especially after the priesthood becomes corrupt. Obviously, I'm not against having churches and governments and different stuff, as long as they are based on truth and ruled by those that are worthy of being leaders, that are trying to make humans better and are good examples to follow, not the ones that are ruling our world today in all these positions of power that are inverts and corrupt, right? Inverts are contracted to corrupt by being an invert. They fall under Satan's contract with God, and they have to corrupt you. So no matter what any religious, teacher or any truther teacher or anybody anywhere says, like, if they are inverted, it doesn't matter how much truth comes out of their mouth. They'll say as much truth as they need to say to try to manipulate you and gain your trust and whatever tickles your ear. But at the end of the day, if they are inverted, you cannot trust them. John answered them, saying, I baptize with water, but there standeth one among you, whom ye know not, that shall baptize with water and with fire. He it is who, coming after me, is preferred before me, whose shoes latchet I am not worthy to unloose. These things were done in Bethabara, beyond Jordan, where John was baptizing. And Jesus began at this time to be 30 years of age, after being after the flesh, indeed the son of Joseph and Mary, but after the Spirit, the Christ, the Son of God, the Father and Mother, eternal, as was declared by the Spirit of holiness with power. And Joseph was the son of Jacob and Elisheba. I don't know how to say that person's name. That's weird. And Mary was the daughter of Eli and Anna, who were the children of David, of Judah, and Sheila, of Jacob and Leah, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of people's names that, honestly, no disrespect meant to them, but that's one of the things that makes the Bible especially boring, is when they start going on about this genealogy. And growing up, I really had a hard time. Like, I was raised in the biblical religion, and I really wanted to, invest in it and, be able to say that I read the Bible and all this stuff. But you get to those chapters of just somebody begat somebody else and blah, blah, blah. It's like, wow, you really want to find a cure for your insomnia, go ahead and read that. Oh my gosh, this chat room is crazy right now. This is ridiculous. Yeah, the option to put the chat on slow. I do. Let me I do have that power somewhere. It's kind of hard to see in this light. Thank you guys for trying to figure this out, my mods in the chat room. These clowns are desperate. How do I fix this? I've never had to actually slow down the chat before. What are my top favorite fruits? Grapes are like my favorite thing. I'm just going to leave this chat. This is just ridiculous. These clowns are desperate. Slow mode. Do you see anything on your end that lets you do that? Because I'm not seeing anything on my end, so I really can't help to slow down the chat. It doesn't help that the sun is glaring here and making it really hard to see. Okay. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Dates and figs, I really don't eat very much. As far as dates goes, I make a caramel sauce with dates and vegan milk, almond milk, usually unflavored almond milk, and eat that with apples, and it is amazing. So, okay. You know what I'm going to do is actually go onto my community page and just block the word Jimmy Cornette, and then they won't even, any comments that mention this clown's name will not be able to go through. How about that? I've had an uprising of inverts trying to attack me recently as well. It's always funny because they're the only ones that try to attack me and lie and then try to basically point at any lie that they can make to try to convince humans that I am not what I say that I am, when it is really them who are the inverts. I'm not sure where this setting is. Hopefully you guys are doing well. It's a really beautiful day out here. I'm surprised there aren't more people here chilling. There we go. Why is this not working? Okay. Perfect. That should work. Hopefully. Okay. Then it didn't work. Okay. Oh my gosh. Get a life, demons. All right. I'm actually going to be doing some more recording today. I wanted to put up a, like I said, a video of Mr. E, Mr. She, as Aaron likes to call them, promoting eating bugs, and Michael XY, another invert, introducing Mr. E to the community and also saying that they're not promoting eating bugs when they literally say grasshoppers make a good snack. Like, how can you not be promoting eating bugs more than actually being on camera, putting a bug into your mouth and telling people that it makes a good snack and it's like crunchy like a potato chip? What the heck is happening? All right. I'm also, like I said, working on my Chess 101 video, which hopefully will be getting out quickly. It is taking a long time. I'm not sure why this is not. I'm not sure why it's not blocking automatically. This is definitely a demonic attack. Subscriber only chat mode. That might work, but then I wouldn't have people that aren't my subscribers say it. Michael says, it seems they are your greatest fans. They must love you so much. I know, right? This is just pathetic. Who the heck, like... This is one of the ways that demons do attack. You always have to keep in mind that we are in a spiritual reality, and they try to attack many different ways, making our electronics work, influencing other people in our lives to, you know, they can if there's an altercation or something between you, they can go and just whisper into somebody's ear and add fuel to the fire to try to ruin relationships and cause drama, and then basically just sit back and laugh at the humans and feast on all of the negative energy that comes from that situation. This is just a really petty attack. And we also need to remember that these 54 accounts, oh my gosh, they have limited amount of attack energy. So this is just using electronics to do it. But when there are other attacks, they do have limited energy, and when they're not using these different bots to just go in and automatically post, it's like any other entity, right? There's you and me. There's like, we have so much drive, and that drive can be worn down over time, right? Like if you start a project and you're really gung-ho about it, and over time it's like that energy kind of gets dissipated as you go on. It's the same with their attack. There's only so much energy that they can invest into it. But there's also the fact that if other people are sending curse energy your way and they're hating on you and all of this stuff, that energy can be directed by these demons to fuel their different attacks. And they can manifest in all sorts of different ways, technological or health issues, or anything in between. So it's an interesting thing, and most people don't want to accept the fact that we live in a spiritual world. Get a better program, scammer, lol, right? Hey, Strider Wins, how's it going? I'm having some issues with some inverted clowns spamming the chat room today, so it's kind of, I have to keep scrolling through tons and tons of text to even see what people are saying. It definitely puts us at an advantage when we know that we are in a spiritual battle, and that these outside entities are trying to influence us to try to ultimately make us the worst versions of ourselves possible and turn us into clowns so that they can laugh at us. Any types of agendas that they're pushing, in the back of your mind, just keep in mind, like, okay, why are they promoting this, and how is it turning humans into clowns? The monkeypox new variant going around. I'm not saying that they aren't putting out diseases, because I know that they are, to try to kill us off, but it's just going to keep going, right? It's like virus after virus to try to keep people coming and getting their jabs, keeping people sick, and they need to keep putting out new ones to depopulate, right? It's like they put out one, and then as soon as we get immunity from that, they need to make a variant and put that out and keep it going so that the sickness stays constant and they can continue with the lockdowns. It's really quite surprising that they have let up with the mask stuff, but I know that even my mom is in the nursing profession still, and she has been wearing a mask since 2019. Like, crazy. I can't imagine that. My grandma is also, well, she just mainly does administrative work now. But nursing is something that, a lot of women are drawn to, because we have a natural desire to, to kiss your boo-boos and patch you up and heal people, right? And I was actually just talking to Akshar about this the other day, about how, they demonize witches and natural healers, and then get the women that would be drawn towards those things to be pulled towards big pharma's indoctrination and unnatural, I don't even want to say healing, because is it really healing when you chop somebody up and take their body parts out, and like, are they really actually healed? I mean, not really. They're missing body parts now. They're all chopped up. Like, yeah. So it's really quite sad, because these people are good-hearted in general. I'm not saying that all nurses or all doctors are good-hearted, but there are many that are good-hearted in these professions that don't realize that what they are doing is evil. And once they do realize that, if they ever accept the fact, I mean, that'd be a really hard pill to swallow. If you can imagine, spending your life going to nursing school and spending all of these hours doing, your everything that you have to do with all that. I can't quite think of the word, but going through all this schooling, then years and years of actually practicing medicine, and then you find out that you've actually been hurting people the whole time, right? Like, how people are going to have an ego issue, like they don't want to accept the fact that they have been hurting others because of the fact that they desperately want to help heal others. And that type of inversion is used constantly against us, where males in the natural desire to go and protect and fight for your tribe, your country, whatever, is used against them to get them to go and fight these fabricated wars, these fake wars that are set up by ultimately Satan, but the rulers of two countries are puppets on Satan's hands, squabbling back and forth. And then they go and get the people under them to fight each other and kill each other off, while the leaders are sitting behind closed doors, sipping mimosas together. Like, there's no actual reality in this war other than the fact of human sacrifice. They are legitimately getting humans to dislike and even hate each other so that we will go and kill each other off, and then they don't have to do anything. The depopulation event happens by humans' hands, and they can point to the spiritual world and say, look at them, like they're killing every other species, and now they're killing each other. Like, this species is the worst, and then use that as justification to further depopulate us and laugh at us for being clowns. Hi, Jai Daddy. How's it going? Real healers are self-taught and are spiritual by their very nature. Tell them, Queen. Yes, they had to demonize the witches, and not only just for physical healing matters, but for the spiritual as well, right? Like, anyone who knows their stuff is going to say that there is a spiritual connection to the physical problems that you're having. They're not divorced, although the current systems have completely divorced them, right? If you go to a doctor, they're not going to be like, what kind of evil are you doing to get you to this state of negative health that you are currently in. They're not going to say that. They're going to, probably most likely prescribe you a pill and not even tell you to change your lifestyle, right? Don't change your diet. Don't change anything you're doing. Just take this little magic pill and you're fine. And most people are happy with that, right? It requires nothing different. You just keep going on, and this little magic pill usually just covers up any of the symptoms that you're having, and then those underlying diseases can continue on while you're eating yourself to death, because the little magic pill turned off the signals in your brain telling you that something was wrong. The spiritual and the physical are completely interlinked. So when you do have these physical maladies, these diseases, there is always a link. There is always an underlying reason. And as you already know, popping pills and chopping people up and doing chemotherapy is not actually going to solve the fundamental problem that the person is having. Hey, Levi, how are you? Anonymous, have a good and important message to be spammed so much. Yes, this is a very annoying. I already, Dribby Crackcorn is a loser. Ha ha, you little inverted script. Kitty, is that all you got? That's hilarious. I am at the golf course, Levi. I'm just outside today. I wanted to sit in the front of the golf course so that you could see Mount Shasta behind me, but I had I had my chessboard out and I needed to sit at the table over there to show that on the screen. So hopefully tomorrow, or next time that I'm here next week, I'll be able to sit out in front of Mount Shasta. So it's one of the best things about living here is getting to see Mount Shasta all the time. In the golden age, I definitely want to have different cameras set up at different points around Mount Shasta, looking at Mount Shasta, to have a 24-hour live feed. So like my ideal would be having like a fireplace with this moving picture on it where I can see live Mount Shasta from any of these different cameras. And like, I'm lighting up about this idea. It's really exciting. You'll see like these lenticular clouds hovering over the mountain all day, and different, like if there's wind blowing, this snow is just making these waves coming into the air off the mountain. Like, there's just the most beautiful sights that I have seen at Mount Shasta here. So I'm really excited about that. Let me see what's going on here in the live chat. Close the chat temporarily. I'm not actually sure how to do that, and I don't want to do that, actually. Striderwind says there are a lot of bad witches out here. Yes. Most of the witchcraft going on is secretive and unbalanced, especially the stuff that is in public. This satanic witchcraft being promoted, using it for evil, whereas these tools, it can be used for good. And all of the good ones that have stepped up to try to use this power have been demonized over time. Burn the witches. Then they're gonna stop sticking their necks out and say, let's just do what we do in private, because we're tired of these clowns that are the Satanists themselves pointing at us and accusing us of what they are guilty of. And this projection thing is found throughout history. Inverts are constantly doing this and causing problems. Sage says 3 of my aunts on my dad's side of the family are retired nurses. Gonna see them at dinner tonight. Oh wow, okay. Are they into any researching the truth of our reality? Are they open to any of that, or are they still kind of wanting to accept that the industry is for the good of humanity? Kyle says only fasting, spices, herbs, fruit, and veg can heal, not drugs. I definitely agree. That is the white magic form of healing. And obviously the black magic form is eating animals, consuming urine, doing disgusting and degrading things for temporary healing. You might be temporarily rejuvenated from going out and eating a little animal corpse that you call steak, but that's black magic. That's no different than the satanic scumbags running our world going and eating a baby for their blood or their adrenochrome for the rejuvenation that they feel from that. It is a dark black magic demonic high. And I've talked about this before, about how demons can integrate themselves with us. You have this connection with your guardian angel on one side and the devil on the other, and both of them trying to whisper into your ear to convince you to come their way, right? And these voices aren't always, pretty much never are clear that they are not you, right? They come in and they act like you. They sound like you. You think that you're having this desire to do something when in reality, that's not the truth. And then when you go and do this thing and you can get this high, the demon can make you feel extra high and happy from doing it to keep you coming back for more. Then the human just goes on thinking that it's them that likes to do this degrading and corrupting behavior, when in reality, it's that demon that has integrated itself to your soul. It's connected to you at a soul level. And I would definitely encourage you to check out my sermon on how to become immortal, so that you can hear about what happens after death and detaching yourselves from these demons now, rather than waiting to experience the pain that comes after this physical existence if we don't do that. You're sad like Jimmy when you've got a special program. You still can't boot anyone on YouTube and they defeat you with moderator tools. Don't quit your day job, Jimmy girl. Yeah, that's funny. Run out of bots yet. Jimmy, go make some more scripts, kiddo. It does look like they stopped, so hopefully. Run out of steam, exactly. Thank you guys for moderating the chat and taking care of that storm. That was ridiculous. They're wrecked by pharma and one won't hug unvaxxed family members. Oh, that is so sad. That is really sad that they won't even hug unvaxxed family members. I can't imagine if somebody was like that and then maybe like if they had an adult child and they wouldn't take the jab and they wouldn't hug their own child. That's so sad that people are actually convinced to see other humans as diseases, a danger, and in reality the ones that are truly a danger are the inverts. Once humans actually wake up, like humans obviously want a future that is good for humans. I mean, unless they're seriously broken. So my general rule of thumb is that if it is a real human, even if they are not perfect, like they're not vegan yet, they're not living exactly how they should be, they are still on my side rather than being on the side of the inverts. The spiritual battle really is real humans versus inverts. They are the prey, or I mean, they are the predator, and humans are the prey, and they are all around, aren't they? Okay. HB Jilly, I mean Jimmy, go get a new IP or DNS server and make some more bots so we can ban them again. It's kind of like a little battle going on here in the chat room. It was the YouTube chat checkmate. That's hilarious. Ignore who you think is named Jimmy and keep filth out of your mouth, please. Focus on the stream now. Yes, I agree. Strider wins. Inner dialogue is a major part of spiritual warfare. I completely agree. And like I was saying, and knowing that there are external sources, external voices that want to influence us is extremely powerful. I've come across multiple situations, and it's like if I just remind myself that I'm being messed with by demons. Even what comes to mind is Aaron and I were chatting, and you'll go and type this really great response to somebody on Facebook, and then something happens, and then it's all gone. It's like, use that as an opportunity to fight back and make that even more powerful. Personally, I see it's like, okay, I'm getting messed with by demons. I'm just going to fight back and, like I said, make it even better than it was before. And it really helps to eliminate their feasting time when you recognize that you're being feasted on, that you're being messed with, and stop putting your emotions into it. Like, I'm not going to be frustrated. As hard as it might be, my computer's not working right, I've lost footage, like everything is going wrong and I'm frustrated. It's like, just calm down and don't let them feast on you, because the more that you feed into it, the more that they're going to want to do it, right? So yeah, knowing that we are being messed with is really helpful in all of that, and can really help to get them to go elsewhere. If you stop being the clown, if you stop giving them something to laugh at, stop giving them something to feast on, then they're going to go find somebody else, because there are tons of other humans in the world that are not aware at all, that are more than willing to basically just go through life as a zombie and be the plaything for whatever demon whispers into their ear the next idea, right? They're just on autopilot. And if you cut that off, if you stop participating in that, then it's like, what are they going to do? Sometimes, especially if you are a truther and you're a threat to them, however, they're going to fight back even more and try to discourage you, to shadow ban you, to block you, to get you to stop pressing on towards your destiny. There are souls that came to this world. What pops into my mind, there's a recent movie by Mark Wahlberg. Well, I guess I should say with Mark Wahlberg. I'm pretty sure it's called Infinite. Let me just double check. Mark Wahlberg movie. Just want to double check that this is what the name of the movie is called. Keep doing this other mudra here. I'm sure that somebody will take my picture and say, evil confirmed. But this mudra here is useful in concentrating, and obviously, like, focusing is not an evil thing. What in the heck is happening right now? My computer might be getting too hot because it is really hot outside. Oh no! Hopefully you guys can still see me. I might have to move into the shade. Okay. Ah! No bueno. I can't see anything on my screen, so I think I'll just sit over here. All right. Okay. Yay, it's working. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me grab my stuff. Okay. So, yes, the movie is Infinite, and they talk about a lot of truth in plain sight in this video about this battle that is going on between what they call the nihilists, these entities, this army that is essentially trying to end physical existence, end the cycle of reincarnation. And on the opposite side, you have the believers, which would be what I fall under, those that, believe that we are here for a reason, ultimately to establish the golden age. In this whole battle that is going on between these two groups. It's actually a pretty good movie. Obviously, invert central like every other movie that they give, but it's a lot of truth in plain sight, so it's pretty cool. Axar says endurance wins again. Yes. We'll go have a word with Jimmy later in this little group and wait for days for a response again. That's funny. Kyle says facts are usually better than feelings. I agree. Levi says, what kind of stone is that on your neck and what purpose does it serve? This is lapis lazuli, if that is what you are asking. Well, first of all, on a very shallow level, I just think that it's really sexy. So I have a choker here. But lapis lazuli has been associated with Inanna, and anytime that you have different stones on your chakras, over your chakras, they can act as a magical catalyst. Lapis lazuli is a stone of wisdom, intuition, and truth. It's known as a powerful crystal for anyone seeking to deepen their connection to self. So this is lapis lazuli, and this one is a tektite from the heavens to connect with the feminine divine. So yeah. Okay. Aaron says, "LOL, pyramid Illuminati confirmed." Exactly. You can't do any hand gestures. You can't. I've seen someone try to basically say that this was like a hand gesture. I'm like, anybody that's wiping off their face could do this hand gesture, and you just pull a screenshot of them and then say that they're a Satanist pointing to their nose like Pinocchio. You're really grasping at straws and trying to make truthers look ridiculous by saying such ridiculous things. Another one of these hand gesture things that they try to promote is the you'll see models putting their hands on their hips and say, oh, there's an M there for Masons, when in reality, anybody who goes and puts their hands on their hips, your hands naturally fall into an M position like this. I'm not making hand gestures to anyone. This would be it's unnatural. So yeah, I definitely encourage people to look into the real meanings of these things and stop playing along with the official truth or narrative, because it's making people look like clowns. Nobody asked what are the tournament's results. The tournament, like Sage said, is still ongoing. Here is the current tournament bracket. on Facebook. And for anybody, again, who would be interested in playing in the next tournament, 16-person tournament, please get a hold of me so that I can add you to the list. Nobody says the choker looks really nice, and why is it called a choker, by the way? Well, I'm laughing because I have accidentally put this thing on too tight before and like struggled getting it off. I swear it was like a demonic attack to not be able to get the clasp off, and it was like it was just so tight. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die right now for my own choker. It was hilarious. Yes. A lot of people try to say that inverts, wear chokers to cover their Adam's apples, but it's not a biomarker. Like anybody from either sex can wear a choker. It's not that they're wearing these to cover up their Adam's apples and like ridiculous. Like I haven't seen any of the ones that they claim, wearing Adam's apple necklace. None of them that they claim. Like you can go and see pictures of them without the choker and you can see that there's nothing there. So it's like none of them I've ever come across are wearing it because they're trying to hide something. They're wearing it, for fashion or other reasons. So if you have seen somebody who's wearing it like that, then go ahead and please post it into the group because I haven't, and I've been at this for a very long time. So yeah. You guys laughing at me getting my choker stuck. This is like really is very a traumatic experience. So anyways, these are lapis lazuli earrings as well. And yeah, like I was saying, stones going over different chakras, like kind of, you can imagine just as we have like an aura around us, this energy field, the stones have this too, and they are, affecting the different parts that are wearing them. They also have stuff that you can look up online regarding different rings and putting different rings on different fingers to connect with different energies, kind of like the mudra thing, right? Like, putting a ring on this finger to connect to one of the energies of the planets. And by planet, I mean a wandering star or other celestial bodies like the sun or the moon, and different stones being used to enhance this or bring about different qualities, and all of these different factors tying in together to act as a magical catalyst. So nobody says, do you like mice? I am not really a fan of, do I like them? I'm not gonna like go out of my way to kill them, but I'm certainly not going to have any as pets. Not that I would have any animals necessarily as pets, but if I were to have a pet, I would heavily lean towards a lion. And yeah. And then the birds are like, hey, what about us? I do feed the birds at my house too. So I'm a fan. I am a fan of birds. Very much so. Let's see. Okay. Having some issues with my computer charging. Okay. Anyways, nobody, do you like mice? Is that why you're asking if I like mice? Aaron, why are you laughing at me wanting a lion? After that story from the Gospel of the Holy 12 of, the Christ having this lion and coming up to him and laying at his feet, it was definitely something that added fuel to the already their desire to want a lion. Holy cow, you have over 60 mice at the moment. Do you have to have like a mice farm then, or what? Like, are they in a big container? That's crazy. Kyle says cheetah. Nice. Aaron says, wait, isn't lions scared of mice, or is that just elephants? They say that elephants are, but I'm not really sure how true that is. I've never been around elephants to know for myself. So, yeah. That's funny. There's Bible verses about the lion laying with the lamb, or the wolf laying with the lamb, whatever you want to say. And also basically the calf and the lion and a child and snake, like all being together in harmony where they're not eating each other. And that is a depiction of the golden age. Like that is possible where we could live in a paradise. But we have to stop being evil ourselves, right? Humanity as a species is literally creating this hell that we are living in. And if we don't stop as a species, then we don't deserve anything other than the train wreck that is coming down the line that we're going, right? Sage says, how do you know which one is Mickey? That's funny. Aaron says, oh wait, it was the mouse that took out the splinter from the lion's paw. Buddhist story. I heard on Dare to Do Motivation. That sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't say that I know exactly what it is. Nobody says it's an infestation. That's not good. Over 60 mice infestation. That sounds horrible, honestly. They're all Mickey Mouses. Mooses? Mices? Are you doing something to take care of this infestation or what? Aaron says peppermint works well for mice. I know that there's quite a few. It's really interesting to look into different plants that can be used to deter not only mice, but different pests, different insects, and all that. So I'm going to try to sit in the sun a little bit more. Of course, we're only... Hi, Jara. How's it going? We're only given harmful chemicals and, painful ways to try to deal with all of these pests. They're breeding really fast. Wow. And you're catching them alive and then returning them to nature. Well, how far away are you returning them? Because if you just take them outside, then they're going to come right back in. That's funny. Kyle says that there was a story a while ago when a lion raised a baby deer as its own. That's cool. There's also a story out there about a vegetarian lion that refused to eat meat. So that is something I really like. I've wanted to have... They have mountain lions on Mount Shasta, so it'd be really cool to be hiking and actually get to have an experience with a mountain lion. Like, be my friend. Then it wants to come home with me. That'd be pretty fun. I'd be a little bit nervous at the beginning, like, are you coming home to eat me or what? Just messing, but I do fully believe that animals, especially wild animals, are connected through their pineal gland, the soul inside, and they can sense whether we are coming there to mess with them or whether we are harmful, and obviously domesticated animals do to some extent, but the more domesticated they are, they're getting usually fluoridated water, they're getting animal food that is chemically processed, stuff that is completely unnatural. So the more away from God's design that you get, the more unnatural you get, the more problems that you're going to have. So domesticated animals are definitely a little bit different, but wild animals definitely able to tell whether you are there for good or evil, and it's pretty exciting. Strider Wynn says major cities are a hellhole. They haven't become one yet, but I definitely agree. They're gonna be problematic coming pretty soon. I mean, all of the shelves, not all of the shelves, but there are a lot of empty shelves around here already. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like in the big cities, and the more people there are, it's just a recipe for disaster. So hopefully if you are hearing my voice and you're in the big cities, you have an escape route so that you can get out of Dodge when things go south. Nobody says, yeah, sometimes they don't want to go. One was hiding in my clothes when I tried to release him and he was traveling all the way back home. Oh my. That sounds horrible. Yeah, I would definitely go with the peppermint and try to I'm looking at that little bird back there hopping around. Try to get them out naturally. I have some ants that are gathering outside of my house that I need to deal with, and I'm pretty sure it's either peppermint or some kind of mint that I'm going to try to use to take care of them. They are persistent little buggers. It's always interesting to try to think of how, you know, how much of these things that we are interacting with are natural and God created, and how many are unnatural or straight up demonic um, manifestations. Not only can they mess with your stuff, but like, as weird as it sounds, like them manifesting as, you know, this ant army that comes into your house and causes chaos. Like, they can harvest the energy in these other things as well to try to mess with us. I don't know about you, but I cannot do ants. Like, ants really just, I do not like ants at all. And yeah. Anyways, nobody says, yeah, I use the neighbor's cat. That's if the cat actually does the job and chases them out. But unfortunately, a lot of cats sometimes like to terrorize their prey and just, you know, my neighbor's cats will be fully fed and then they'll come over to my birdie paradise to try to mess with birds just because they like the taste of fresh blood. Like that, now you've crossed the line over into the demonic territory. Okay, like that is just, that's, yeah. Obviously not all animals are like this. There are definitely better behaved ones. You know, the soul inside of each animal is going to be different, just like the soul inside of humans. So painting them all as evil really is not appropriate when it comes to any species, really. And I know that many in the truther community want to label, you know, jinn or reptilians like dragons or nakash as evil. Any other species besides human is evil, while not looking at their own species and realizing how evil humanity is. Like, you think that the cows and the chickens and all of these other species think that humans are the angels in the situation. I'm pretty sure that they are cheering for the, you know, those that are acting as the karma for humans' evil, which are normally labeled demons. But if you do evil and then evil is repaid to you, is that really evil? Like, that's the consequence for your action. So I don't really, like, I am fully aligned with the justice system and the mother's justice system, I should say, not the criminals giving justice system that we have in the world. But the mother's justice system, in that, I guess I should say the mother and father, right? Because they work together. There's this balance of father and mother, and then a trinity made with the father and mother and child. And the father and mother are not at odds with one another. They have worked together to create this paradise. Him being like the, you know, the one that's molding the clay, which is the mother, her being all physical matter, and him using her to create the world that we are in. And in this world, there is a justice system, in that, you know, if you do evil, evil is repaid to you, and if you do good, good is repaid to you. Outside of this realm, there isn't any system like that. So it is unique to this realm, and I personally am a fan of it. Like, I think that we should have actions. If we're doing evil, then if we're creating a hell on earth for every other species, why in the world should humans have a paradise? Like, that's not justice. That's not just or right. So anyways, nobody says ants are amazing too. Oh no. They eat my walls. Oh man, that's crazy. And on it getting a vegan lion. Well, the lion would have to, you know, to be, I actually want a male and a female so they could like grow up together and, you know, eventually have little lion babies. But at this point in time, I don't want any type of pet animals, because I wouldn't want to risk people cursing them and potentially cops coming out and killing them. Like, it's just another way that I could potentially get hurt, and I don't want that. It really does suck to have to be like that, but anything that I love, they're gonna start to curse and try to destroy it. So I'd rather just wait until the golden age. Yes. Anyways, Strider Wind says my cat kills mice and leaves them at my door. Oh my. I wouldn't like that, like having to deal with dead things. I'm not a fan of touching dead things or any of that. I'm definitely glad that I am vegan because I just the whole concept of being around dead things is just like not something that I think that holy people are doing. So Aaron says that they ate out under my car dash. Had to change the cluster to all the wires. Expensive trip to the mechanic. Oh my gosh. Sorry for laughing at that, but that's like wow. Oh man, that is some bad. I wouldn't want to say bad luck, but honestly, it's just mainly like a demonic attack, just to mess with us and cause any sorts of issues that they can to make it that much more entertaining for them. They're laughing as these mice chomp on your wires, and then maybe you're in a rush for work and you go to start your car, and then like it doesn't work at the most inopportune time. Is kind of like what they go for. Okay. I know a guy who has a vegan pit bull. This dog is built and lean and healthy. Wow, that's pretty impressive. There's no such thing as a vegan dog. That's not true. There are vegan dogs and cats, and people like even have groups on Facebook to promote this. And they have cat and dog food that are vegan as well. So I personally believe that if you are vegan, then you're either not going to have an animal like an obligate carnivore like a snake, or your animals are going to be vegan. Because how are you going to claim to be vegan if you go out and pay for animal corpses, like multiple animals to die so that your animal can live? Like that is not vegan. For you to purchase animal products at all is not vegan. So you're not a vegan if you are giving these animals non-vegan things. And what was I going for? Yeah, it's obviously one thing if you were to have like a cat and you feed them vegan cat food and then they go outside and they hunt. Like you can't really stop them from doing the hunting, but you can control what you feed the animal in the first place. And that being said, animal like pet foods in general, I personally don't really trust. I mean, animals in the wild are going to be eating raw things, not cooked things. So there's just in the difference of eating raw and cooked things. There's a study that was put out observing cats on a cooked meat diet and a raw meat diet, and the behavioral changes that happen when these cooked foods are introduced. I do believe that there is a correlation with what we are eating, not only as humans as a species, but other species. When we start to deviate away from the diet that our creator intended for us to consume, then that's when we start to not only prematurely age ourselves, but we create in our bodies this acidic environment where diseases can thrive. And then any viruses that they send out, you're gonna be very susceptible to getting sick from that. So, yes. Nobody says nonsense, Anana. With all due respect, your pet is going to die when you feed them veggies only. Have you not? Like, I mean, there are plenty of people with vegan cats and dogs that prove that is not true. So, I don't know what to tell you. I personally am not going to get a cat or a dog. Like I said, I'm more into like lions or even wolves. So, yeah, I don't really like the concept of taking animals from their own kind, their own parent, their own family to stay with me as a human, to not be with their family. Like they should be with their family too. So the whole concept of this is like extremely foreign. If I ever were to have a pet lion, like it would be like if these were either came up to me in the wild or were rescued from a zoo or something, to where I don't even know where they like originally came from, to put them back with their family. So yeah, I wouldn't go that route personally, but that's just me. I'm not ragging on people that do have animals. I understand the programming that society has been under, and I do understand that people get rescues. That's awesome to get all of the breeding that happens, people wanting their own like designer dog and cat, with all of these animals being left over and taken to the pound and all that. Like the people that do rescue them, I have appreciation for, but the whole cycle really does need to stop, and the demand is what is keeping the supply coming. All of these animals are being well, I guess they're not all being raped into existence, because a lot of them, will put the dogs together and let them go at it, or however they want to do these just weird bestiality thing. Like, why are you like being involved with animals reproducing? Like, it's just foreign to me. But anyways, the whole thing needs to stop. The cycle of abuse. Extra says you might be surprised at how many cats and dogs thrive on vegan food. Yeah. Aaron says not necessarily. Nobody, even cats, can take a supplement and eat plant-based. The problem here is we have no choices for plant-based here. Oh, really? Have you looked online too as well with that? Yeah, I'm not really sure, because obviously you're in a different country, so... Sage says, what's next? Space travel. You're going beyond the horizon with these claims. That's funny. Hey, don't knock on Elon Musk and our humanity's achievements going to space and Mars and all that garbage. Kyle says, what fruit do you think is the most energizing? That is an interesting question. I'm not really ever... I'm sure that they have done scientific experiments behind all of this. It's an interesting question. I don't have an answer for that. I'd have to actually do some research. Of course, I don't even have access to all of the fruits in the world anyways. The ones that we're given are extremely limited, and, if you're not very careful, they're going to be GMO and even grown with fluoride and other chemicals sprayed on them, and just any way that they can get corruption and poison into it. Even if we could find drinking water that like wasn't touched by them, all of the food that we are eating is almost certainly grown with fluoride water and used in like the processed food for cooking and all of that stuff. So it's like we can't get away from poisons at this point, and that's by design. Hi Tyler, how's it going? Just lost my precious fur baby. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It hurts to lose an animal more than most people. Is that wrong to say? Well, a lot of people do really form a bond with their pets, and they find that these animals that they are bonding with are more loyal than humans, right? They're anytime that you walk in the door, you wagging his tail, and it's like a friend that doesn't cause issues. That's like always just loyal. So I definitely understand that aspect of it. It'll be interesting to see what happens when crap hits the fan and people's animals start to go feral and gang up together, even in big cities, having like dog packs and cat packs and cats eating their owners, and really it'll just be really interesting to say the least. But it'd be nice to bypass some of this devastation, and ultimately we control what is happening. Like, we could stop what is going on right now. If just half of humans would go vegan and stop fueling it, they wouldn't have karmic justification to keep it going. But go ahead and try to convince humans that the evil that they're doing is creating the evil around them, and they're just going to say, oh, but bacon. Like, they would rather keep living in a hell as long as they get to keep eating corpses like clowns. Hopefully that's not you guys. Hi, Dominic. How are you? First ever live stream. Blessings all. Nobody says pets really rock. I love cats, dogs, and even tiny mice. They're great. Strider Wins is laughing at Elon Musk. They've been posted a few times into the transvestigation groups as a girl. Tyler says it's hitting the fan right now, in my opinion. The normies all still have their heads buried in the sand. Yes, I hear you on that. People I know are acknowledging the comings, famine, and crisis, yet they still just sit in front of TV and pretend it's not happening. Wow. Crazy how fluoride can get somebody to act that way. And not just the fluoride, like we were saying earlier, there's multiple aspects to it, not just a physical aspect with fluoride, but also a demonic aspect, trying to keep people in ignorance. And it's much easier if you just go along with what you've always known. Don't rock the boat and don't think for yourself. Just let somebody else do the thinking so that you can sit back and do nothing. Humans are constantly getting crushed down, and then we're laughed at and we're distracted from the reason that our soul actually came here. So hopefully the people that are listening to me at least are at least trying to connect with your true self and figure out why your soul came here, rather than just being a mindless zombie going along with the programming, even the programming in the what I call the mainstream truther community, right? The mostly biblical narrative that is being promoted and not questioned, unfortunately. Striderwind says, my cat runs in my room every time I come home. Yep. Dominic says there's a transvestigation on Musk. I'm not really sure about a video, but their pictures have certainly been posted. I personally don't watch transvestigation videos. I don't need anybody to teach me how to transvestigate. And if they're not going to be showing me their body in comparison, I don't care. Like, you're most likely an invert if you're not showing your own body in comparison to the inverts that you're pointing at. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I am more than willing to put myself next to any of these MTFs in Hollywood and show you that your fantasy girl is actually a dude with no flaring hips. Anyways, crazy until a few years ago when people actually started waking up that, like, the masses, pretty much every human male was fantasizing about a dude in drag, and every female wanted to be these dudes in drag. Like, we're all programmed to look at these Hollywood models, and especially as girls, we're put under this pressure to look like them and to act like them, and it's impossible. First of all, like, you can't look like you can't actually have a boy's body when you're a girl. Like, we have curves, we have flaring hips. Like, it's just not a thing. And to act like them, they act like degenerate sodomites. And that's because that's what they are. They're extremely focused on being very sexually aggressive and very corrupt at the same time. And putting out this, programming guys with a desire to find a girl like this when we don't have these natural proclivities to do the garbage that you're seeing on pornography. Like, real girls don't do these things unless they are broken. So we really need to have a whole brainwashing of society. And in brainwashing, I mean, get your brains clean, wash off the filth, and actually, like, be clean for once. Make your brain clean and realize that we've been programmed with these, fantasies and destructive mindsets in looking for a partner. Like, girls were trained with this whole Prince Charming, Disney fairy tale Hallmark and Lifetime movies, where we see these extremely sensitive guys with very soft eyes, because they're actually girls, and we're programmed with this image of a guy that real guys just aren't like that. And like I'm saying, on the flip side, guys are programmed with this image of girls that do these things that real girls don't do unless they are broken into it. No real girl grows up thinking and fantasizing about being pounded in the butt. Okay, it's just not right. And this whole sodomy thing is really bothersome and not something that I want to get onto. Okay. Aaron says, I might get a pet silverback gorilla because it's coming on monkeypox season. Well, you better make sure that the silverback gorilla doesn't infect you with monkeypox. Tyler says, the fluoride stare and the hypnosis people are in 100%. It's more the indoctrination, in my opinion. We came here to survive and help others. I definitely agree with that. Aaron says at Tyler, some will wake up later and others are not going to get it at all. It's crazy to think that we can go through this whole, cycle of life and already have been through the awakening process before, and people still don't get it. And they're like, no matter how many times we've gone through it, it still doesn't click for them. And then on the opposite side, there are those of us who, once we actually started the awakening process, as soon as I saw a flat earth like representation, it clicked for me. I'm like, that makes way more sense. That's the truth. Like, it resonated with me and I woke up instantly to it. So there are two completely different, groups of people that are completely, you could spoon feed them the truth until the day that they die, and it still doesn't actually click for them. Or on the opposite side, people that just wake up instantly. And I'm sure that there are many in here in this chat room that have woken up instantly as well to not just flat earth, but many other topics. Extra says that's cultural brainwashing and they're targeting children. Absolutely. You can convince a child to believe that Santa Claus flies around a giant spinning ball that came into existence by a big bang with these great little human creatures that evolved from pond scum. Like, you can convince them of the most ridiculous things and groom them to the LGBTQ PBR leanings, and that's what most of you already know, that is what is happening. It's terrifying to even think of people sending their children to school. There's somebody that I know that is a teacher around here, and they're like, I don't even know what to do with all of this liberal like garbage. They actually have children in their classroom that are wanting to go by they, them, or the opposite pronouns, and this person has to basically go along with it to keep their job. And it's kind of interesting to see that happening and wonder how many more conservative teachers have already quit because of this more liberal leaning programming. And I'm not trying to play into the left versus right thing, but in general, it's like the left leaning is promoting this sexual degeneracy and the right is against it, right? But yeah, you got to think of how many of these right-leaning teachers have already quit, and then it only leaves room for the left-leaning teachers. And there's already a problem where pedophiles and inverts flock to professions where they can be around children all the time, where they can groom them. And, I don't know about you, but I certainly, remember times in really early elementary school accidentally calling my teacher mom. Like, you spend all the time with these people, rather, they have mom and dad are off at work, you barely even see each other when they come home. It's like the mom and dad are not the primary ones that are influencing and teaching children, so those lines can get really blurred very easily. And to have a pedophile or an invert in that position of power is absolutely terrifying. And I know that is what is going on right now. Like, they're only going to be leaving more and more spaces for those as the right-leaning ones come out. And that's actually with all of these professions too. Like, when you think about in the past, if you look into the history of Spanish flu and how, nurses are used to give these injections, and how things can go negatively in this profession, the ones that basically refuse to go along with the programming over time, if they're not going to get jabbed or they're not going to wear a mask or whatever, they're going to want to look for a different option. And then the only option left is these new fresh nurses that are coming out of the liberal teaching schools, and they are like, we have to have jabs to save people's lives, and they're not going to have any problem with force jabbing people. So it's kind of like a replacement of the more right-leaning people that are going to try to stop the evil, with people that are on board with it and going to go full force. And that's like in every profession nowadays, right? Everything is getting worse over time. Dominic says, I want a real woman who stimulates the spiritual side of my mind and opens it to new horizons. Somebody I can be vegan. Oh, that's really cool that you're vegan. And live a long, happy, healthy life together. Well, that is a really great thing to wish for, Dominic. Definitely keep that in mind. Tyler says, yep, some will willingly get on the boxcar thinking the government cares about them. Sad, really. Absolutely. The biggest stressor to me is the people who are asleep. It's sad, especially when they are your family, right? Aaron says, at Tyler, sadly, I think we can now see how they got people on those trains in World War II after the Rona scare. People submitting themselves just the same. Yeah, and there are so many things that are the same that happened then that happen now. We're told about concentration camps. I don't believe the official narrative, but I see FEMA camps in my world right now. So the idea of a concentration camp happening back then, it's like, history's about to repeat itself. So I think that a depopulation event did happen back then, but it wasn't exactly what we are told happened, right? They try to make it a spin-off, and yeah, completely controlled event there to try to establish the current state of Israel that, according to the Bible, doesn't even fulfill prophecies about the future state of Israel that is supposed to be established, a holy land where the people are actually doing God's will. That's not what's happening there right now. So that is not the prophesied current state of Israel. I personally believe it will be starting here at Mount Shasta during the Golden Age, where the holy mountain, none will hurt or kill anymore in the holy mountain, and people will be full of the knowledge of God and knowing what is right and wrong, and taking our power back to actually create a golden age. Those of us who came here as the believers and not the nihilists, to refer to that movie that I talked about. Dominic says, I feel like it's both round and flat, kind of like the line inside of a marble. Well, I would agree that the firmament is, we're inside of this. All of these ancients depicted it as a sphere, like the firmament being above and below, being inside of this ball, if you will, but on a stationary plane with the sun and moon moving around us. And that's how I see it. So, yes, a lot of women on these social media outlets are satanic, says Strider Wins. I definitely agree. And a lot of them are not even women. So, you definitely should transvestigate people fully. Tyler says, once you see the narrative for what it is, it's almost comedy, the claims they make. Yes, it is. It really is designed to be that way as well. His bird is like flying from table to table. It's designed to be that way as well so that they can laugh. We have to keep reminding ourselves that we are in this true man and true woman show, and there are entities that are watching us and messing with us to try to laugh at us. Like they want to be entertained, and the more ridiculous the psyop that they put out and humans still believe it, the funnier it is to them. There was somebody that posted in one of my transvestigation groups that Travis Barker, Scott Disick, and Travis Scott were the same people. Those three clowns look totally different, and one is a completely different race than the other two, and they're promoting this as the truth and sitting back and laughing at any of the humans that are stupid enough to believe it. It's unfortunate that these clowns are in the truther community, but unfortunately they take up the majority of the truther community. Most humans are still completely asleep. They don't want anything to do with the truth. They are focused on their 9 to 5s, and once that torture ends on the weekend, all they want to do is drink or escape from the reality and certainly not focus on the truth, and basically figuring out that everything that they've ever known is a lie and being depressed by that and feeling even more lost. I mean, I guess at least where they're at now, they obviously don't feel lost enough to try to find answers and to see why things are so bad. Tyler says, wonder if this monkeypox will be the next thing. It's looking just like the start of COVID-19. Yes. Kyle says they're destroying the family dynamic. Absolutely, they are. Aaron says, Tyler, I hope not, but hard to say right now. Monkeypox, an excuse for jab reaction. Interesting. I've speculated since the start that the jab death and reaction will be blamed on another virus. It's kind of, if they were going to blame it on another virus, then it might have been a little bit closer to the time that it happened. But since, like Aaron says, it could have something to do with HIV, the COVID itself being coronavirus deliberately mixed with HIV is going to have, whatever short-term effects from the immediate injection, and then other long-term effects, because you just put HIV into your body. You think that you're going to be healthier over time, like, especially if they keep putting out more diseases and your immune system keeps coming under different attacks, on top of the fact that we're being sprayed with chemtrails, our water is poisoned, and 5G getting blasted around us to weaken the immune system even more. Dominic says they always tell the truth through jokes. They definitely do try to say as a joke, like Megan Fox admitting to being a dude, and then they'll just say, "Oh yeah, I was joking, really," and then a certain amount of humans are going to be like, "Oh, they were just joking." Like, they're not going to believe it, even though the person literally said it. So it's another deception where they can laugh at humans, right? Rachel Dolezal proves that people can be racially deceived. I have no idea who Rachel is. Let's see. Known for presenting herself as a black woman despite having been born to white parents. Well, that is something that I would have to look further into, because their DNA does not look fully what they claim to be, or doesn't look fully white, but I'm not really trying to get into this. They do try to do different jokes like that, like saying somebody that is one skin color is a completely different race, and any sort of confusion that they can get into. The bottom line is that, there are different races, but it shouldn't be used as a dividing point between us. Ultimately, we are all humans. We're all the same species. And our rulers, the ones that are ruling over us right now, have tried to divide us and get us to have different disputes against our brothers and sisters, our human brothers and sisters, based on their skin color. Like, that is so ridiculous and shallow. And they laugh so hard at it because it's so ridiculous and shallow. If you're going to not like somebody, at least don't like them for a reason that actually is legitimate. Don't just say, "Oh, they're a different color than me." Like, that just shows that you are pitiful and have no depth to you. Anyways. Aaron says there is a diet woke truther community now. And isn't it kind of interesting how the Trump movement got basically demonizing being woke? Like, they've tried to invert it to where people that are woke are drinking pee and doing ridiculous things, but then there's a whole culture of like Trump tards that are like, "Oh, being woke is a bad thing." It's like, do you not realize what's coming out of your mouth? Like, you're saying being awoke is a bad thing, so you're implying that being asleep is a good thing. Like, how easily are you brainwashed to go along with these agendas? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that anybody in the truther community is even believing Trump. Tyler says they're lost and scared of the answers, rather have their false delusions. Yep. Nobody says, "Did you catch COVID already?" I still didn't for some reason. I temporarily lost my sense of smell and taste for about a week, which was like, "Oh, am I never going to get to taste food again? This is so depressing. I don't even want to live." But yeah, thankfully, I did get my sense of taste and smell back. So yeah, I do know that it is real. There's something that happened to cause that to happen within me. So I know that there is something going on, but I know that obviously my immune system was strong enough that, I wasn't sniffling or, any other symptoms other than the fact that I lost my sense of taste and smell. So nobody says I was strong on social distancing and hand wash. Oh, Levi says that. Nobody I was strong on. Okay, Levi, did you say that you got it then? Oh, you never got it. Okay, and you were never jabbed. Awesome. Dominic says, I was around my whole family that had it, not so much as a sniffle. Been happy and healthy for 2 years. That is awesome. Yep. Tyler says, do you think we'll see societal collapse by the end of the year? That's an interesting question. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to put any dates on anything. This lighting is terrible. But it's definitely happening quicker than not with everything that's going on. You can see the nice chemtrail getting sprayed in the back of me. Okay. I'm actually going to have to head out of here relatively soon. Trump and QAnon or Ike or Assange, all gatekeepers, all inverts. Yes, absolutely. Whenever we need a hero, they are giving us one. I personally don't have anyone that I look up to. I don't have anyone that I go to for teaching or truth or anything. I have a trouble trusting people. Like, if I can't transvestigate you, then I'm going to be running the opposite way. So yeah, hopefully you guys are destroying all of these idols that you have previously allowed to be set up in your lives and realizing that they're all inverted clowns. Yeah. Extra says they're on some major delusions, all right. Kyle says there's so many races, and yet the mainstream thinks we all evolved from monkeys, and now we got monkeypox. Yes, that's really hilarious, isn't it? Aaron says, I was born premature and had a compromised immune system. I had allergies my whole life and started taking essential oils after getting off junk food, then went vegan. Haven't been sick once. That is awesome. Nobody says the lighting is really nice. It looks really sunny. Okay, well, hopefully. I kind of look like I was sitting in the dark there for a little bit, so hopefully it wasn't too bad. No more allergy pills at all, and only a day here and there I get it in my nose allergies. Wow, Aaron, that is really impressive that you have dealt with all of these issues by just clearing up the diet. It's not a shock, obviously. Those of us that know the human body is designed to be a self-healing machine, it's like you just need to get out of the way of all of these processes so that they can keep happening. And most people just can't do that. They want to take a pill rather than actually changing their lifestyle, and you're not ever going to actually find true healing on a physical or a soul level by seeking these temporary black magic cures for the things that ail you. Extra says, looks like a really good lawn space there. Great picnic spot. Yes, this is the golf course, so they have very, very green. Dominic says radiation poisoning with 5G towers. That's why China was ground zero. Yes, I do agree that the virus does spread more quickly in areas with 5G. Viruses can thrive in that environment. It really depresses the immune system. And when the immune system is depressed, then these viruses can really go in and fight with your body, fight with your immune system. And that's when you either get sick or you don't get sick, right? It's crazy that they have convinced people to blame their own bodies for them getting sick. The whole concept of your body doing spring cleaning and that being what the flu is, that's not exactly true. These viruses are made in genetics labs and they are sent out en masse to get us sick, to keep this whole idea of flu season going so that we keep going along with their programming, keep coming back for seasonal flu jabs and all of this crazy stuff that humans do, like from birth until they're really, really old. How many old people are constantly going and getting their flu shots every season? Crazy. Just so much poison getting injected, and then they wonder why people die so early. Humans are designed to live hundreds of years in vibrant youth. It's really hard to even comprehend that because, the oldest person that I know was like 99. So, yeah. It's hard to even think of somebody living hundreds of years in vibrant youth because of how much premature aging that we've seen. From the time that a baby is born, they start usually getting injected with jabs. And then as soon as their mom stops breastfeeding, which is getting earlier and earlier, if they even breastfeed, right? They put these babies on the formula and all of these unnatural things that are going to start prematurely aging and harming the baby right from the beginning. So what chance does that child actually even have in life? It's really sad. Nobody says, Striderman says, yeah, my sister caught COVID. Same thing, no taste or smell. Tyler says, be close with Yah and you will be protected. I firmly believe that. The creator is always in control. I do agree that he is in control, but I believe that he allows free will and isn't like dictating the end of the story, because it's ultimately about free will. And if humans as a whole decide that we're going to continue down this path of the New World Order, then that's the path that we chose. Like, nobody says, do you have crocodiles on the golf course? No, I have not seen any crocodiles in Mount Shasta. Aaron says, the doctor also told me I no longer had asthma recently. I had it as a kid, but didn't bother me much as an adult. But now supposedly I don't even have it. That is awesome. I don't know how they obviously have different tests for testing asthma, but I've never really looked into that. It'd be interesting to see. Dominic says, think of everyone on Earth living in a microwave. What comes up must go down. Yes, Dominic says we're supposed to get all the blood from the placenta. There's a reason they snip the cord immediately. I completely agree with that, and do plan to practice delayed cord clamping, if at all. I've read before that you can just let it, after a while it'll actually detach by itself naturally. So there's no reason I see to not let it happen that way. But yeah, and not only does it hurt the immune system, right? The baby is cut off from all of these great nutrients in the placenta. But then they can turn around in all of the nutrients and stem cells in that placenta. Like, they can make money off of that. So there's an incentive to, to make money on the placenta, to make money off of the future patient of the baby that's not as healthy. But most doctors really don't know these things. They're only told what big pharma teaches them, and not looking any further into it or questioning these things. So it's, a mixture of willful ignorance of some and just complete ignorance of others that don't know any better. I watched a documentary one time of a nurse from a different country as well, and they were saying that C-sections also are completely like not even a thing. If there are complications during the birthing process, there are other methods by which they use to get the process going along properly, rather than cutting the mom open. So many unnatural things to just destroy the whole mothering process. From the time that you are conceiving, you're supposed to go in and get these constant ultrasounds that blast the baby, like an ultrasound. It's a very, very loud sound. You can't hear it, but you're not them. This technology is used, or was used, to locate submarines and waters, like sending out these big blasts to see what comes back. And it can really damage the baby. And you're told to do this like every month, starting at the most detrimental time to the baby's development, when they shouldn't be anywhere near these harmful things. So anyways, I don't know, kind of got off on a little rant there, but hopefully people are starting to question all of the programming that we've been under from the time that we have been born, and in every different arena, because it's pretty much every way that they can do harm and corrupt us, they do. Aaron says it's not Yah, God, Allah versus Satan. Satan is no match. It is Satan versus humanity, or Satan's corruptions and illusions versus humanity. Absolutely. Satan and his inverted minion army versus humanity. So that's the first thing that you should be asking yourself anytime that you come across someone. It's like, okay, are they a real human, or are they an invert? Because that's going to determine the rest of this interaction that we have. You can't trust an invert no matter what. They'll pretend to be your friends. They'll pretend to be on the same team as you, just so they can undermine, and then as soon as the opportunity comes, stab you in the back. So yeah, unfortunately, I've had too many interactions with stupid clowns. There was one test they said to confirm 100% to self-induce asthma, or try to. Oh wow. I passed, was happy with the prognosis. Well, that's really awesome that that you passed. That's really self-induced asthma attack. Okay. Sage says, just don't make placenta soup. Oh gosh, that's just really satanic, isn't it? All of those ingredients that are necessary for the baby getting consumed. Like, I don't want to eat any body parts of anybody. Like, ugh. Dominic says I was born from a C-section at around 5.5 to 6 months. If they didn't cut me out, my mom and I both wouldn't be here today. Are you sure about that? Because there's a lot of things that they say in the medical industry that's not true. They definitely try to, for one instance, promote killing ectopic pregnancies, and I've read articles of women who have gone to full term with ectopic pregnancies and been completely healthy. So yeah, I don't really trust what doctors say. They'll tell someone that they have an incurable disease when the disease is completely controllable if they would just clean up their diet and stop doing the evil that caused them to be in that situation in the first place. People don't want to accept that they are the reason that they are in that situation. They probably usually want to blame God if they believe God exists for not protecting them or whatever. When in reality, the one that we always usually need to blame for our issues, for the evil that's happening to us, is ourselves. Sorry, worded that wrong. I passed the test, didn't want to induce asthma. Okay. Aaron says, Satanic Receivers, I hope I live to see the day the pendulum starts swinging the other direction. Well, it already has. I mean, even just exposing these inverts, every time that a new human their idol is crushed, right? They lose that power over them, and that human gains in power, right? They're taking back that power that they have given that idol in all of that energy that they have invested in them. So exposing these inverts is definitely one way to help them to lose their power. But they obviously see that this is happening and are fighting back against us in various different ways by shadow banning and blocking and trying to discourage us to ultimately get us to stop. If we don't continue fighting for the golden age, there is no hope. There is no other heroes for humanity besides us. So if we don't step up to the plate, if we don't achieve our destiny and do what we came here to do, there's nothing. There's darkness ahead for the rest of the world. So hopefully you guys are realizing what you came here for and taking this duty seriously. It's not just our own souls that we should be worried about, but the souls of others, and ultimately the mother, Sophia. She is empowering all of this physical existence, and if she doesn't want to continue existing, that's the end. Right now, she needs to stop being abused and experience a golden age, like a light at the end of the tunnel of all of this abuse, to reinvigorate her soul. And I know I keep talking about this stuff, but it is so important to realize the situation that we are in and, step up to the plate to do what we came here to do. Dominic said they also wanted to make me a girl. Uh-oh. That's creepy. Hey, Flat Earth Super Being. Evening, Anana. Hope you are well. I am doing great, but I'm actually getting ready to head out of here. I've been here for like over 2 hours now. Levi asks, are your eyes hazel like mine? Yes, they are hazel. And like if I cry or get upset, they can turn really light green and change colors just a little bit based on my moods sometimes. So anyways, guys, I'm really happy that you were here to join me today. Again, I wanted to remind you about the chess tournament that's going on. And if you wanted to join the next chess tournament, if you wanted to join the next round of games, the next 16-person knockout tournament, please let me know because I am looking for players now. So anyways, I will be back here with you next Sunday at noon. So hopefully you will tune in and make sure that you remember, because YouTube will not remember you most likely. And thanks again for being here. I really appreciate all of the talk, and especially thanks to my mods for dealing with those the invert clown swarm that we had earlier. So all right, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful week. May God and the goddess bless you.